Success as a gym owner means understanding how your team is wired. Different people have different preferences for how they like to work, how they take action, what kind of information they need before they start on a project. To help increase your understanding of your team, there are a number of personality style assessments out there. But I'm warning you, they are not without peril. So in this video, I want to unpack some important frameworks for how to consider personality style assessments if you plan to use them to help support your team more effectively. My name is Mark Fisher from businessforunicorns.com, and if you like this video and you want a totally awesome, completely free assessment, go to gymownerreportcard.com or click the link in the description box, and you'll get access to an awesome, very simple, very fast report that allows you to quickly identify what needs to be fixed next to move you forward and have the training gym of your dreams. And one of those things might be having a high-functioning team, which leads us to today's topic, personality style assessments. You've probably heard of some of these. Examples include the Myers-Briggs, the DISC, there's Enneagram. You might even say emotional intelligence is a kind of assessment, though not strictly speaking a personality style assessment, which is more about preferences. Here's the thing, I gotta tell you, my pals from hardcore social scientist land do not like these. I'll give you the real talk here. And the reason being, one of the great debates in the world is, are people really wired a certain way, or can people change? And I don't know, it seems kind of obvious to me that yes, everyone can change and that some people just have less capacity for change than others, but ultimately it's not a good mindset to think that people can't change. Most of us are not all that consistent over the course of our life within different social contexts, which has a big impact on how we're showing up. But all in all, I think these tests can be very valuable to give you some information. But I think the key thing here is if you are to dig into one of these assessments and use them with your team, which I actually do recommend, I think if you're working with a good facilitator, the thing that they will really highlight for you that's super, super important is that number one, these tasks used wrong can be violent, right? Which is to say that if you start putting people on your team into boxes and you're like, oh, you're this kind of person, or even more problematic, if you start to put yourself in a box and start to say, oh, well, I'm a big picture people person. I can't, it's simply not possible for me to focus on the details of a task. You can't count on me to ever answer any emails promptly. That's not helpful. That's not what we're looking for. Remember, we're only looking to understand preferences, trends, tendencies. So that is a thing you have to watch out for this, because there are certainly people that take these assessments and it becomes something of religion for them. And again, understand, I'm not knocking them. I've actually found a lot of value in them, but I think that context is really meaningful. Because if you do consider it within that context, well, then I think there is a lot of value. And specifically, there's value in understanding yourself more and understanding others. Not because these assessments are the end all be all or because they're prescriptive, because in fact, it's not uncommon when people take these assessments and they get the report, there's things that don't always ring true. Now, admittedly, the fascinating thing is sometimes everyone else reading the report thinks that that's true for that individual, but that individual maybe has a knowledge gap for how they're showing up and how they perceive themselves to function, because they say that it doesn't ring true, but everyone else is like, oh, no, that's definitely you. But admittedly, sometimes it just doesn't ring exactly true for you, and I think that's kind of okay. Remember, we're not taking this as the gospel. This isn't the end of the conversation. It's the beginning of the conversation. Understand, when you're taking these tests, they'll ask you questions like, oh, do you like to speak quickly? And you'll be like, yeah, I like to speak quickly. And then you'll get your report and be like, you like to speak quickly. And you'll be like, what sort of witchcraft is this? Yeah, because you filled in that thing. That's the way it works, right? But again, this is the beginning of a conversation. You don't have to take all of it as gospel, but oftentimes you will find clarity and you will perhaps be able to articulate some things that are personal preferences that can be valuable for the people to work with you to know. This isn't to say that you can't be versatile or you can't be flexible or lean into other preferences or styles. It's just to say that this is the style you feel most comfortable in. I either prefer to focus more on the big picture or prefer on the details. And the other thing to note is all of these tests make, I think, a very important point, which on a meta level, I think is the biggest gift of these tests. And that is this: there is no style, no preference, no way of working that is intrinsically better than others. However, it is true, some might be more or less effective in certain roles, in certain projects, in certain moments, but fundamentally, we give each other what we lack, and the healthy expression of a diversity of these preferences is gonna lead to a pretty high functioning organization. Part of the value of doing these tests is it can help people understand that other people just value different things, they prefer different ways of working, and optimally come to understand that an organization does its best thinking when everyone is able to contribute from their unique unique viewpoints. And the more we can have generosity about the intent of others, the more we can have curiosity about the way others are wired, the more successful the organization is going to be, because the thinking is going to be better. Because of course, 2 heads are better than 1, and the more heads, the better. Is that a thing? You could be like a many-headed dragon. Now, in closing, I will say this. Ultimately, this doesn't excuse, again, behavior that's not helpful, right? So if you have someone that is really into planning and they're constantly stress ball and making a toxic work environment, that's not great. Conversely, if you have somebody that really likes to keep it flexible and they're all over the map and they keep saying they're going to do things and then not doing the things, that's also not great. So if you want some support in understanding how to unpack this, I think we would pair this video with my other video, Trainer Driving You Bananas? Here's what to do. You can find it below in the description box, and you can go there right after you smash the old subscribe button. That's all for today, friends. And remember, if you want an assessment for your gym, it's not really a personality style assessment, go to Gym Owner Report Card and we will zoom it into your inbox. Just a few moments of commitment for a lot of clarity. And I'll catch you next time for another video where I'll share with you more actionable tips, psychological frameworks, and philosophy.